Good morning. We're in Islands of Adventure. It's about 8:30, so early park admission is happening right now. But we wanted to start this video and kind of give you tips and tricks to do Universal with a baby, more so an infant. Clara, you can see here, has been to Universal at 3, 4, 6, and now she's 10 months old today. So we have quite a few tips on how to deal with a baby that's non-mobile, and then now she's mobile. And then we were exclusively breastfeeding the first 9 months of her life, so we have a lot of tricks and tips for breastfeeding in the park too. So we'll start here. We're actually back behind Cat's Hats and Things, which is in Seuss Landing. There's a little nice private area back here. So this would be a great spot to breastfeed. And do anything else, changing diapers and things like that. So we'll have a lot of tips throughout the day and kind of go from there. Theme park bathrooms can be a busy and sometimes frightening place for an infant. Something that has been very helpful for us has been using our stroller as a diaper changing station. It's easy to find private areas like here behind Mythos where you can set up a quiet place to change a diaper. Our stroller folds almost all the way flat, so if this is something that you have the capability to do also, I highly recommend it over fighting the public restrooms and changing tables.
So this is back behind Mythos. If your baby just needs a nice quiet place to rest a bit, or if you need a nice quiet place to rest a bit, this is an amazing place to go. I don't feel like many people really know about this. So it's never packed, but there is all kinds of space back here that you can just come and relax. There's some amazing views here too.
We're behind the Three Broomsticks and Hog's Head. We're just taking a little snack break for Clara. But this is another great place to breastfeed and just kind of cool off because there's a lot of fans. This is usually the table that we sat at to feed her. You can always use a cover if you want, but it's also pretty private. And you also have a good view of the Velocicoaster, so it's nice.
Another benefit to coming over behind Hogsmeade at the Three Broomsticks is strollers are not allowed inside of the Three Broomsticks, but if you walk around to the back, you can typically find a table out here, and they've got some fans and stuff, so it's pretty cool. But you can typically come out here in mobile order. Let the Velocicoaster go by there. You can typically come out here in mobile order, and they get the food out in like 5 minutes tops, and it's just way easier with a baby.
One of the most useful services in the parks when it comes to having an infant is the first aid stations. There are 5 total first aid stations, 2 in each park and 1 in City Walk. In Universal Studios, one is located to the right when you first enter the park, and the other is in the New York area on Canal Street. In Islands of Adventure, there is one as to the right as you come through the turnstiles near guest services, and the other is located near the Talking Fountain in the Lost Continent. City Walks is located behind Cold Stone Creamery. The first aid stations provide private nursing rooms if you're breastfeeding, and also breast milk storage if you need to pump. You can also utilize these rooms as quiet rooms if your baby needs a place to wind down to nap. Each room also has sinks and changing tables, and some even have microwaves. The best thing about these facilities is the air conditioning, so on hot days, there are great places to cool down without having to go all the way back to your hotel room. The staff is always friendly and happy to help with whatever you may need.
For coming to Universal around this time with your baby, it's being able to find good, cool, shady spots to take them to whenever they're starting to get fussy. One of our favorites is over here at Studios in Diagon Alley. We'll take you over there and show you what that's all about.
The Hogwarts Express is an efficient way to get from park to park and is also very baby friendly. The only requirement when riding the train is that your baby must be out of the stroller. The attendants will ask you to leave your stroller at the side of the train to be put in a storage area. It will be waiting near the gate when you exit the train at the other park. The train ride takes about 5 to 7 minutes once you are in the cabin and does have a couple of instances of loud sounds, which is something to keep in mind if that is something that bothers your baby. Child Swap is another great service to utilize at the park with the baby. There are a couple of different ways that a child swap can work. One being everyone who wants to ride and the child that is unable to ride will go through the queue together. This does require the stroller to be left outside. Once at the front of the line, there is a room off to the side where one adult and the child will wait for the rest of the party to complete the ride. Once the adults are able to swap, you will be at the front of the line and ready to go. Another way child swap is done is arranged before going through the queue. There is usually an employee at the entrance of the ride. You can speak with them and tell them that you would like to do child swap, but you want to keep your child outside in the stroller. They will give you an express ticket for one adult to use once the other is finished riding the ride first. If single rider line is available for said ride, that is also an option with this method. Every room at Universal Orlando Resort hotels will be different depending on where you stay and what tier of room you're in. There are two important things that you should be mindful of no matter where you stay. One is knowing that you are able to reserve a pack and play to be brought to your room for your stay. This can be done when making reservations online. They also provide a sheet for the pack and play. The second tip when planning your hotel stay with an infant is to be aware of your bathroom situation. For example, we stay at Sapphire Falls often and the standard room only has a shower, no bathtub. This will vary depending on where you are and what room, so it's important to know so you can make a plan for your baby's needs. So as you can see, we're not at the parks anymore, we are back home, but I thought it would be helpful to end the video with a segment kind of like what's in our bag or what's our important things that we take with the baby. So number one, pretty obvious that most people take, is a stroller fan. You can almost argue to take two, but we usually just take one and she does pretty well. It does last quite a while. We usually also take a portable charger just in case it does die in the park. Next is this little bungee cord. This attaches to the stroller. It can also attach to a high chair, and we usually use it to fasten toys to the stroller, so it kind of is adjustable and it fits all of her toys. This I just included because we do fly to the parks. I found a pack of 3 of these on Amazon. They're just little spinny toys, but they have suction cups, and these are definitely a lifesaver on the plane. And we suctioned them to the window and then also to the tray tables, but she had a blast with those. Another thing that I usually take through the airport and the parks, it's also nice to have with you, is a pocket blanket. So we have lounge access in most airports, so we'll take this and set up in a corner and let her get down and play with her toys and everything on the layovers that we have. But it's also nice to have in the parks because areas such as in Universal Studios, there are grassy areas that you could lay this out and let the babies play and get some energy out if you didn't want to go back to your room. One of my newest finds, but I love it, is called Solar Buddies, and it's actually for sunscreen. You put the sunscreen in here. So whatever sunscreen you use, I use the Blue Lizard, and then you just take this cap off and it's a rolly ball. So for kids that don't want to sit still with sunscreen, it's almost like painting them, so it gets on them really well and you don't miss as many spots. It also has a clip on it, so I just clip it to the diaper bag. And then this, which not everyone will need them, but with babies you have passies. And then it also works for toys or just anything you need to disinfect, but they're passy wipes. Clara is notorious for throwing passies and toys on the ground constantly, so we always carry these with us just to wipe them off real quick. I think our biggest thing that we always take is the carrier. We like the strap carrier rather than a wrap carrier, especially in Florida because it's so hot, but she rides in this thing front facing most of the time. one other thing that's not really something that goes in your bag, but for us in your suitcase, is this travel pack and play mattress. So like we talked about, the pack and play is included in your room. You can have that brought in, but the pack and play mattress sometimes is really thin, so we take this little travel mat for her to be a little bit more comfortable. And then the last thing that I will show is just our diaper bag. It's just an itsy bag, but we do take this into the park with us. So that's about the size that we take. If anyone was curious, we have stroller straps, so it just straps to the stroller and hangs down. But that's, that's kind of the end of this video. We just kind of wanted to address a few things, kind of show you what was most important that we take to the park, that we take every time.